I'm Teresa. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me here today. Today we're going to be doing some printing. We're going to be using a couple of different types of crayons to create some line work and then do an image resist transfer and then use paints to create a more painted finish rather than a printed finish. I've gone with a botanical theme for my images that I've gone here. It's really easy, simple technique. I'm going to move these out of the way, get all set up, and I'll be back to go through the steps with you. As always, I'm going to begin with a quick rundown of what we're using. Today I've got my 7x5" gel plate. This one is my Jelly Arts brand, 7x5". Any size will do, whatever size print you want to create. I would suggest maybe not trying to do something too big. I would say if you've got a large plate, you can do two prints at the same time, because this is a slightly more time consuming technique as we're having to let layers of paint dry. So if you wanted to use, say, a 10x8 or 10x14 plate, you could do two smaller prints side by side and sort of work that way. I've got some paper, I'm using the sketchbook paper that I used last week. This is just a drawing pad, 220 GSM white paper, using some of that, and I've cut it to size. I've got a brayer, this is my speedball brayer, and acrylic paints, and a selection of colours here. These are like the Arteza tube acrylics, but any acrylic paint will do. I've also got black and white. Got these large bottles of Deco Art Americana, just because I get through a lot of black and white. I tend to find those quite an economical thing to use. I've got a couple of paint brushes, some water, and the thing that we're going to be using today to create line drawings is a wax crayon and a chinagraph pencil. You can use either or, they're both going to work the same way. That's why I'm going to show you results using both of them. And really, we're just going to create something a little bit different. As I say, it's a little more time consuming. But as always, you know, if you've been using a gel plate for a long time, you're always looking for different ideas of things that you can do. And I really enjoyed creating the wax resists with the candle the other week. Wanted to be able to do something with a little bit more detail, but at the time I didn't have any crayons. So I've got myself some crayons. These are just, you know, your Crayola crayons. And then this is just a chinagraph pencil. Picked that up off Amazon. I think it was a pack of 3, quite inexpensive. And it's just a way of transferring your own drawing or writing onto a plate, just to create something a little more painterly, a little more slightly more controlled, shall we say. So I'm just going to move my plate just to the back for the moment. And to begin with, I need to draw my designs that are going to be my line art resist on my plate. And I've got a couple of pieces of cardstock here that I've just put a bit of a pencil guideline for myself, because obviously if you're a little unsure of what you want to do, or you want to sort of decide where in the paper it's going to be, pencil guideline is a really good way to start. I'm going to do one of them with the wax crayon, one of them with the chinagraph pencil, and then we can get to creating the prints. So I've kept my designs quite simple, as you can see, gone for a botanical design, nice simple line. And what I'm hoping to do is create almost like an offset printed effect when I've finished. So I'm going to begin by getting my plate set up, putting some black paint on it because I want my line work to be in black. and we'll do this leaf design first. As you hopefully saw as I just drew them on there, I've gone quite a heavy line, gone back over it a couple of times. We do need it, you don't want it to just be very sketchy because it won't sort of resist well enough. So make sure you've got a nice solid line on the on your design. And to get a nice thin coat, even coat of black paint. Take our image and press firmly but lightly all over the paper. And then peel your paper off to reveal your resist outline left on your plate. Now give that a few moments to dry, depending on the temperature. Shouldn't take long. It's a thin layer of paint. And then you have a couple of options. Now you can just spray some colour onto there if you want to. That's perfectly fine. That's what we do on a lot of printing. Or you can take this opportunity to actually sort of paint in the shapes that we've got. And I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take some acrylic paint and a paintbrush, and I'm actually going to paint in the leaves. Now I'm not bothered about staying exactly inside the line. As I say, I'm looking almost for a slightly offset printing effect. The one thing I would say is try not to make your layer of paint too thick. The thicker it is, the longer it's going to take to dry. And, you know, if you're like me, you're impatient and don't like to be kept waiting too long. Turning brown, red and yellow, soon they'll be falling down. Now. And once you finish painting, you need to let that dry completely. And again, depending on the temperature, depending on the humidity where you are, that can be anything from sort of 5-10 minutes, maybe to half an hour. I really can't say, lots of variables, but do let it dry if you want a good finished print. So this is where, as I say, if you've got a larger plate that you could do 2 prints, or if you've got a couple of plates, you could be working on another one. I think I'm going to take this design and pop this on one of my other plates while I'm waiting for this to dry. Obviously the process is going to be exactly the same, but I can come back and show you how to complete this print and the other one as well. Once this layer of paint's dry, we can pop on a layer of white paint. Get our piece of paper or card, and give this a good firm rub all over. Give it time. You want that layer of white paint to lift the previous layers off that plate as cleanly as you can. And there we have our finished print. I really like the fact that it looks like a painting rather than a print. Not absolutely perfect, a little bit of paint left on there. I'm not bothered, I'm not fussed. It's transferred it well enough for me. I'm going to clean my plate off with a little bit more paint. And now that my other image that I put on this other plate's dry, I can go over this with a coat of white. And give this a good firm rub. And there's our finished print. So I'm going to get cleaned up. I'll get these prints trimmed and I'll be back to show you what they look like. And here are my finished prints for today. First up, this was the leaf one that we did. I've just trimmed all these prints down, popped them on a little bit of black. I think it just sets them off and enables you to see maybe what they would look like if you popped them in a frame or if you wanted to use them on a greetings card or something like that. So this was the print that we did with the leaf, just basic print. Really happy with it. You know, I like that you can see the brush strokes. I like that it's a little bit scruffy. I like that it looks more like a painting than a print. It's just something else that you can try out with your gel plate for a different technique. This was the other one that I was doing. I popped this on my other plate while I was waiting for my paint to dry. A little row of flowers. Really like this one again. A few little grungy areas on there, but I really don't mind that. I like that. It feels like it's got movement and texture. And again, looks like a painting. Really happy with that. I'd done a few others as well earlier on today. So here was one, another sort of leaf design. And I just took a little background stamp and stamped some dots over the background just to sort of add another layer, a little bit of texture. Anyone's interested, it was just this little background noise dots stamp from Joggles, just a load of little dots. So used a bit of green ink and just stamped that around because it was fairly simple print, so I wanted to add a bit of interest. This one here with some leaves, I used a white paint pen. I did some dots and a few lines just to bring out a bit more of that pattern and add a bit more detail. And finally this one here with a floral design, just added a few white dots onto the flower. But again, other than that, all I've done is trim them down and pop them onto some black card. So once again, hope that you enjoyed the video. Hope that it's given you another idea of something to do if you were just getting maybe bored with doing the same techniques on your plate. I will say it's a time-consuming process. You have to wait for your layers to dry. If you don't wait for your layers to dry, you end up with something like this. I didn't wait for my green paint to dry. I popped the white on and it just all blended in and I got a completely green print. I mean, I know I can go and do something on that, but that's the lesson learned, that really you should wait for your paint to dry completely before going in with that final layer of paint. Obviously, it'll be a little bit quicker if all you did was to brayer a layer on rather than paint it. But as I said earlier, this is a different technique. It's something else to do. And I will also say that whenever I start doing sort of image resist work, the first couple that I do are never very successful. I don't know why. Kind of liken it to making pancakes. The first one or two turn out a little bit weird. Once I've done one or two, I don't know whether the surface of the plate just sort of gets a little more receptive, but then they tend to work better. But my first one or two normally end up going in the bin. They're not very, very good. So if at first, you don't get great results, do persevere. Do experiment with different thicknesses of paint. It does matter if your paint's too thick, too thin. And just do try. I get a lot of questions asking what am I doing wrong with resist techniques, and my answer is always really I don't know. I mean, I'm not there to see what you are or aren't doing wrong. I don't know if the paper or the paint that you're using is the thing that's causing you problems. I generally do not get a problem. Doesn't matter which paint I use, I get the same sort of results. Doesn't matter what paper I use, I get the same sort of results. But they can be a bit hit and miss, these transfer techniques. I know they can. And you always get the odd one or two that's maybe not successful. But try not to be disheartened. Do persevere with it. But for now, that's all. I'll see you again soon. Bye. Not just yet. I'm not ready for autumn. Autumn comes too soon.